Scotland, a land of rich football history. But behind the roaring crowds and modern arenas, there's a past left behind. Today, we uncover several abandoned or forgotten football stadiums across Scotland. Some now stand in ruins, others replaced by housing or supermarkets. But their stories? They live on. Let's step back in time. 16. Cathkin Park, Glasgow. Built in 1903, Cathkin Park was once home to 3rd Lanark AC, a club that played in Scotland's top division. The stadium echoed with cheers for over 60 years. Then, in 1967, 3rd Lanark folded due to financial ruin. The stadium was left abandoned. Today, you can still see the crumbling terraces, swallowed by nature. The pitch remains, used for amateur football. Ghosts of the past linger here. Fans swear they hear distant cheers when the wind blows just right. 15. Meadowbank Stadium, Edinburgh. Opened in 1970, Meadowbank Stadium was a multi-purpose venue, home to Meadowbank Thistle. But when the club moved to Livingston in 1995, the stadium fell into neglect. By 2017, it was demolished, replaced with a new sports centre. But history won't forget Meadowbank. After all, it was one of Scotland's most unique stadiums, with its iconic running tracks separating fans from the pitch. 14. Shawfield Stadium, Glasgow. Shawfield was home to Clyde FC for over 80 years, opening in 1898. It was a fortress, hosting legendary Scottish Cup clashes. But in 1986, financial issues forced Clyde to move. Now, the once great football venue is a greyhound racing track. The terraces have crumbled, and the floodlights have long gone. It's a place frozen in time, where fans still remember the glory days of Clyde FC. 13. Muirton Park, Perth. Muirton Park, home to St Johnstone from 1924 to 1989, was once a lively football ground. With an electric atmosphere, it witnessed great Scottish football moments. But by the late 80s, it had become outdated. When Asda stepped in to buy the land, St Johnstone moved to McDermott Park. Today, a supermarket stands where football once thrived. But memories of Muirton? They'll never be erased. 12. Douglas Park, Hamilton. The original home of Hamilton Academical. Built in 1888, this stadium served as the Accies fortress for over a century. Douglas Park had one major stand and terracing that wrapped around the pitch. But in 1994, the club moved to the modern new Douglas Park. It's a familiar story in Scottish football. History bulldozed for retail. But for Accies fans, Douglas Park remains an icon of their past. 11. Brockville Park, Falkirk. Opened in 1885, this ground had a capacity of 8,000 before its closure. It was tight, compact, and intimidating, a classic lower league fortress. Just 4 miles from the Firth of Forth, but Falkirk was never known for its seaside charm. Brockville hosted incredible moments, but by the 1990s, it was outdated. Safety concerns forced Falkirk to leave, and in 2003, it was torn down. 10. Broomfield Park, Airdrie. Built in 1892, Broomfield was a tight, old-school ground with an official capacity of 12,500, though it often held more. Located about 30 miles from the sea, it was all about the football, not the view. One of its most unique features is a huge gasworks behind one goal. Airdrie left in 1994, moving briefly to share with Clyde before settling at Excelsior Stadium. 9. East End Park, Old, Dunfermline. This was Dunfermline Athletics' home from 1885, long before their modern stadium took shape. Back then, it had wooden stands and simple terraces. By the early 1900s, it could hold up to 16,000 fans. Its distance to the sea is about 3 miles from the Firth of Forth. In the 1920s, the stadium saw upgrades, evolving into the modern East End Park we know today. 8. Love Street, formerly Street Muirton, Paisley. Love Street was home to St Muirton for over a century. Known for its tight atmosphere and passionate fans, it saw many historic matches. It was a key venue for Scottish football, hosting top-tier matches and cup games. The ground was demolished in 2009 and replaced with a supermarket. St Muirton moved to the new Street Muirton Park in 2009, marking the end of an era at Love Street. 7. Bayview Park, Old, formerly East Fife, Methil. The original Bayview Park was a classic Scottish lower league ground, situated right next to the sea. It was demolished in 1998 when East Fife moved to the modern Bayview Stadium. A club with a rich history, East Fife won the Scottish Cup in 1938 as a second-tier team, a feat still unmatched. Strong sea winds often made playing conditions difficult, with stories of goal kicks being blown back towards goalkeepers. 6. Telford Street Park, formerly Caledonian FC, Inverness. This is the home of Caledonian FC until their merger with Inverness Thistle in 1994, forming Inverness Caledonian Thistle. The ground was demolished and replaced by a retail park. A key part of Highland football history, Caledonian FC was one of the strongest non-league sides in Scotland. Inverness Caledonian Thistle's formation and success, including a famous Scottish Cup win in 2015, stemmed from the club that once called Telford Street home. 5. Recreation Park, Old, formerly Alloa Athletics' original ground, Alloa. The original recreation park was redeveloped, and Alloa Athletic moved to a new version of the ground on the same site, with significant modernization. One of Scotland's traditional lower league venues, it was a fortress for Alloa Athletic in their earlier years. The name, Recreation Park, continues, but the stadium itself has changed dramatically since the early 20th century. 4. Boghead Park, formerly Dumbarton FC, Dumbarton. Once Scotland's oldest football stadium in continuous use, it was Dumbarton's home for 121 years before the club moved to the Dumbarton Football Stadium in 2000. Dumbarton, one of Scotland's oldest clubs, played here for over a century, with the ground witnessing top-flight football in its early years. At one point, it was the longest-serving football stadium in Scotland. 3. Kilbowie Park, formerly Clydebank FC, Clydebank. Kilbowie Park was home to Clydebank FC until financial struggles forced the club's sale and eventual relocation. The stadium was demolished in the late 1990s and replaced by housing. The club was known for producing talented players and its rise through the Scottish leagues in the 1970s and 1980s. After Clydebank FC dissolved, Airdrieonians FC controversially took over their league place, renaming themselves Airdrie United. 2. Annfield Stadium, formerly Stirling Albion, Stirling. Annfield was Stirling Albion's home until 1993, when the club moved to Forthbank Stadium. The ground was demolished and replaced by a housing development. Stirling Albion was one of the few teams in Scotland to be entirely fan-owned at one point, making their stadium a key community hub. Annfield hosted greyhound racing in addition to football. 1. Central Park, Old, formerly Cowdenbeath FC, Cowdenbeath. Cowdenbeath FC still plays at Central Park, but the ground has undergone significant changes over the years. The original layout has been lost to modern developments. A unique venue, Central Park is also used for stock car racing, making it one of Scotland's most unusual football grounds. The stadium once saw over 18,000 fans pack in for a Scottish Cup match. These forgotten stadiums once roared with the cheers of thousands, now replaced by shopping centers, houses, or left in ruins. They hold memories of triumphs, heartbreaks, and unforgettable football moments. Which of these do you remember? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more football history.